other than our brother Vijay, an excellent harmonium player and bhajan singer, and someone who has served as an officer in our center for many years. He's interviewed today by Nandini. Brother, we look forward to your story.
Saira.
Saira. I'm Vijay Chennur, a member of the Atlanta Sai Center. As we all know, Swami scripts each one's stories, uniquely and differently. He has his own ways of pulling people to him. So my story was, I grew up in Anantapur, which was like 50 miles away from Parthi. So majority of the childhood days, I heard about Swami because Swami had already built a women's college at Anantapur. Mm-hmm. So I heard about him, and my family also heard about him, and then they were involved in Swami's work in different ways. My mom was involved in Swami's institutions, and my dad in Swami's work and all that, and it was just that much. That's about it. We didn't have any connection to, go further, dig deeper, and want to learn more about Swami or his teachings and things like that. Then I kind of applied for Swami's college, just as a matter of fact. I wanted to apply like Swami's university also along with the other universities.
Interesting. So it was almost like a safe school.
Yeah, it was like that. So I didn't apply because I was interested to know more about Swami's teachings or join his institutions or anything. And then I also had an opportunity where I was doing my undergrad in the university. I had student friends who were Swami's devotees, and I was getting a chance to look at Swami's picture, listen to his stories, but yet there was no connection from within for me. Add to that, I got married to a family who was Swami's devotees, right? My wife knows Swami from the childhood days, and my father-in-law was Chief Sevadal at Whitefield Ashram. There was Swami's pictures all over the house. My first darshan was I accompanied my father-in-law's family to the Whitefield Ashram. Had a wonderful darshan despite Swami's physical presence, and then after the darshan, I didn't have any connection to pursue that further.
So you went and saw Swami in Vrindavan. You had a physical darshan of Swami, and yet there was nothing that triggered or the desire to dig any deeper. Nothing triggered within you.
There's nothing triggered within me beyond that. And then followed it up, the company that I joined, the chairman was Swami's devotee, and as part of his prayers to Swami, he wanted to offer a couple of buses to Swami for his use in Kodaikanal trip. At that time, Swami happened to tell him that he's going to give some personal time the following day, which all of the employees were, encouraged to attend. At that point, when I was offered that, I was given that invite to go and join, to go see Swami, I chose to spend that time with my family. I was just go and spend time with the Swami. At every event I had, you can call opportunity not to go and see Swami and then, spend time at his physical presence. In hindsight, I can say that. But I missed all of those. I missed all of those because I didn't have that connection. It took me all the way to come to Atlanta, like thousands of miles away. When I was 50 miles away and Swami was available for me, I didn't have that connection. It took me, I came to Atlanta, and after a few years, I accompanied my wife to the center. And the center, as I started to attend the center's activities at Atlanta, and something happened within me as I was listening to those bhajans and then talks and spending time, satsang with the devotees at Atlanta Center. suddenly a spark kindled. A spark kindled from within, and then I had that urge to go and see Swami. And so, as the saying goes, take the first step, and Swami will take 100 steps towards you. And Swami set it up in a way I can tell now that my next trip to India, I just had that deep urge from within to go and see Swami. And one morning I was just there at Whitefield Darshan, and Swami walked right to the place I was sitting. And then the connection happened. He looked into my eyes, and suddenly the power, divine power within hit me. And then that bliss descended on me, and then for a moment I was not myself at that point. So I was crying like a baby there. So something stirred from within, shook me from inside out, and then I didn't know myself for a while. It was all one for me. The world disappeared in some sense, and that was a wonderful experience. And that time, whatever I experienced, that is the one I missed all along. I had opportunity all along, if I can say, that I missed to experience that divinity, that power within. That visit was followed up with another visit before I returned to Atlanta, where Swami gave me Padanamaskar. So he walked toward me again. It was he was collecting letters from people behind me, and his robe was all over me, and I had only his feet to see, and then I grabbed them really hard, and then had that Padanamaskar and the robe on him. That was a blissful experience for me again. That was a wonderful experience.
So in the first visit, he cleansed you with all your crying, and in the next visit, he basically drew you in and poured all the grace and love. How did you take this experience, and what did you do with this experience further?
That's a good question. So it opened a world within me. I was able to see oneness everywhere, and that energy that he aroused within me, I had to channelize into service activities. So I came back to Atlanta, and then the schedules that were free with parties were all replaced with some meaningful activities, like service. I go back and give back to the society, and then serve the common good in the community. So I got involved in every activity at the center. The way I see it is, Swami was available for me all the time. It was just that my awareness and understanding was not to the level that I could connect to Swami. When he was physically available, then when I took the first step and he took 100 steps towards me, he was physically available to give that experience to me. But Swami has always told us that he is always with us, in us, around us, and whenever that urge comes from within to any devotee, he is available. He manifests himself in a form and a shape that person is looking for, and he give the same experience. So whether Swami is physically available or not, one should have the confidence that when there's an urge from within, he is going to appear. He can manifest and give that experience that he's given to me, which can translate into a deeper spiritual understanding. Sai Baba.